Welcome, everybody, to Zeta Global Radio. I am your host, Lainey Savante. Welcome, I should say. I'm so excited for tonight's conversation with Dr. Linda Howe. And we have so much to cover tonight around the world of inspired manifesting, Akashic Records, so much about spirituality, real life living. And I'm so glad you're all here. And I want to thank Camille Leon. We have the Holistic Chamber of Commerce in the house, which is an amazing global organization. So hello to all the HTC team and community there. And thank you all for being here every month. We have wonderful, iconic people who are here on our show to really move the world forward in a positive way, starting with ourselves. So tonight is no exception, and I have the honor of sitting here across the country with Dr. Linda Howe. And I'll just take a moment, put on my glasses, and we're going to get right into it because there is a lot to cover. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this woman. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Linda Howe if you don't know who she is. She is a doctor of spiritual studies and the leading expert and pioneer in the field of Akashic studies for personal empowerment and transformation. We're going to talk all about what the Akashic Records are. Instead of reading everything, she's written multiple books. She's won multiple awards. I'm sure it'll come up in conversation throughout this hour together. But Linda's works have risen from 25 years of practice with students from all over the world, which she shares through her teaching, training, classes, and events. Join Linda in accessing your own wisdom and happiness that is always accessible to you. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be with you as well. Thank you very much.
I love that you said that. In fact, there are so many people probably know who watch my show every month that one of my favorite things to do is to devour a book for one, but also to really pull quotes and pull things that just spoke to me, because you can read a lot, but then there's so many. But Linda, you had so many Linda-isms. There were so I have to back up and say, what an amazing, articulate, imaginative, creative writer you are. Like the way your eloquence and the way you write. I mean, you had me like in your forward.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, are you a natural writer? Is this something that just the way it pours out of you is so like, wow, like I'm in whatever you're selling. You can be writing every name.
That's a great question. It really is, because I don't really think of myself as a writer. I think of myself as a teacher. And I know how much I love to talk about my work. It's the thrill of 20 lifetimes, right? And I love to, and the only reason I started writing books, which, believe me, who knew, right? Well, anyway, that's another story. But, I started writing books because I knew, I had such a burning desire to share with people about the Akashic Record and about the insight, the guidance, the wisdom that was coming to me in my records. I thought, oh my God, this is huge. So I worked very hard to try to communicate, to really effectively share with others the wisdom as it's been imparted to me. Yeah. Right. And so that's really, that's how it's all come to pass.
Well, I just think that it's marvelous. I'd love to, if I can, start. It was part of your forward or your opening. Welcome to everybody to the world of Akashic Records. But I'm gonna quote your own words. To me, this was like, you said it all here, but of course, normally I take a page. I got pages of wonderful things you put in your book. But the power nugget woven through this book is this: the essence of your heartfelt desires is precisely what our changing world is missing. You being you, doing you, are what the world needs now. Let go of the way it should be, surrender your demands, and offer your service in the most efficient, effective way available at this moment. Life is waiting for you, for each of us to step up and join the fun. Like, you start off with that.
But
Yep.
it's the starting place, right? Especially now. Especially
Yeah.
when it seems, I mean, we could really, listen, I could go down the road of despair and hopelessness and, oh, woe is me. I mean, this is
Yeah.
prime time for woe is me.
Right. And this is when you wrote the book, during woe.
Right. But
The
there's
beginning of woe. Yeah.
right. But the flip side of this is that what if we really all decided to be here for this, epic, right? For this era changing times. What if that's true? And what if who I am as a person, what if who you are as a person, what if who we are as ordinary human beings is exactly what the world needs right now? Do you know?
I'd say whoever's watching this is in the right place to learn more about just that.
Good. Yes.
Well, let's go back a little bit, because before you became Dr. Linda Howe and really opening up this Akashic Records world to so many people in the world, across the world, this wasn't your first rodeo. You experimented and saw and dabbled, and you really kind of did the gamut, like I think a lot of us have who've been doing this a minute or two, right?
Of course, because you know what, when I was like 24, I had what was for me a life-changing moment of spiritual awareness. And I know these events they become quite common because we're in times of dramatic change. Yes. Yeah. Right? This is the age of awakening spiritual awareness. So I'm not the only one to have this moment, but I'll tell you something, it rocked my world. Right?
Was it a dark night of the soul?
Oh, it was the dark. Oh, it was terrible. You know what I did?
It was not good. Okay.
It was not good, but it was very simple.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm from the Midwest here in the States, and I was raised in a traditional religion, and I don't know what they were teaching, but I know what I learned. And what I learned was that if I managed well, I'd get to be happy. Simple, right? I got on the track. I did everything I thought I was supposed to do. And I woke up at the age of 24 at a fabulous apartment. I had great shoes in my closet. I had a wonderful job that I really hated, but it was a great job, right? I mean, but you know what? I had a good life. I had great friends. I had a very good life, but I had this incredible sense of emptiness, of despair. Like, how could the picture look so good and feel so hollow? So I made a desperate prayer to the universe, to a God I didn't even believe in, right? I was
going to say, like, there's so many names for that higher power.
Yeah, right. That presence. And within short order, I had a moment where I had the sense of being, first of all, completely known, right? Transparent, completely known, completely loved and accepted. And part of the whole of creation. Now, listen, nothing in my life prepared me for that. But I thought, well, whatever this is, I've got to have it. So I was 24. I spent from 24 to 40 looking, because what I wanted to do was recreate that, right? To generate that sense for myself.
Right.
And like you said, I did everything.
Right.
I did everything, known to man and alien. I did it all. I had a wonderful time. But nothing there were a lot of things that were wonderful, but nothing came close, right? So then at 40, I heard the words Akashic Records. And now I'm like, whatever that is. I mean, I didn't even know, but I was captivated. I was like, I must find out what this is. So I went to this class. The woman who taught it, I thought she was odd. She was a lovely woman. I didn't know what the heck she was talking about. She was very esoteric, very, very detached and remote and spiritual. My idea of spiritual at the time.
I could almost picture her,
I
right?
know. Are you there? I'm there. I'm like, oh my God. But here's the thing. She said, to open your records, do this. So I did what she said. And don't you know, I had a moment that was strikingly similar to the moment I had when I was 24.
Wow. It's like finding that energetic blueprint.
I was like, oh my God. And I thought, but here's what I really thought, Lainey. This was so funny. I thought, well, this is nice. I thought, this is nice. Whatever it is, I will do this until it's not good anymore. Right? I thought, listen, I've been to a gazillion, bazillion workshops, all wonderful. But, you know, I'd go 2 weeks. It would be like, what was that? Or it's 6 months. Who cares? So I thought, well, that'll happen with this. That was in 1994.
How beautiful.
What year is it? It's 2021. I mean, what is, and I keep thinking, oh, I'm going to finish this project, or I'll finish that project, and then it'll be over. Then I don't know. I'll get a job. I'll make coffee. I'll do whatever, right? I don't care. It's whatever. I'll do something. And it just keeps going. So I've come
and more unfolding more layers. You just keep having more and more to explain.
It's like more and greater because it's alive. Right. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I learned about the Akashic record, which, you know, I don't even know what that is at that point, is that it is alive. Right. It's alive. It's emerging. It's evolving. Wonderful. Because, see, I originally thought, oh, great, I'm going to come across some, I don't know, you know, a couple of slabs of stone with things written in it, carved in permanently. Right.
Right.
I thought I'd meet
some hidden scrolls in a cave.
This is what I'm thinking, right? And there'd be a few tall guys in brown hooded robes who would be, you know, cool and detached, and that would be it. Not it at all. Every idea I had is out the window, and the experience has been dramatically different.
For those who are watching it thus far, and by the way, thank you for putting your name or letting us know you're here. That's wonderful. And we, you know, we will probably take some questions at some point. Mm-hmm. But for those of you who are new to what we're even talking about, rest easy. We will help you discover the journey of what this is, so you can catch up. Because we're talking about something that you can't touch, but you can definitely feel. So maybe just, if you don't mind, just give them a little mentoring, so we'll bring them into the world.
Yes. And this is good because I know, see, I'm more familiar with it, so I like just jump in, but it's like, wait a minute.
We're here to awaken.
Let's start at the beginning. So here's what it is. The Akashic record is a vibrational archive of every soul and its journey as human. Okay, let's take that apart. First of all, Akasha. You know, nobody in Chicago says Akasha, but Akasha is a Sanskrit word. And what it means is primary substance, that from which all things are formed. Yeah. So we're talking about the first essence of life.
I love it.
Okay. Isn't that like,
yeah.
Now,
you know, I don't want to segue, but you know, my spiritual name is Savante, and in Sanskrit, and I like to go by Savante actually, but Savante in Sanskrit is worship.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It didn't come in through the records, but it came in a different way. But I don't. Keep going.
That's all right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Savante. So,
thank you, babe.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, all right. So the Akashic record, it's a vibrational archive. So what that means, because it's vibrational, it's invisible. All right. Vibrations, we don't see them with our human eye. We don't even see them with the strong eye. We do not see vibration. We sense vibration. Yeah. And we sense it as human beings, not as phenomena, right? Not as like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Not as phenomena, not as weird things happening, right? We sense vibration through our emotion, right? through the heart, right? The emotion. So it's like human feelings. That's where we detect the record. So it's a vibrational archive. It's a collection. Everybody's in it. People we like, who are cool, people we don't like, people we don't know. Every human being that has ever been makes up the record. Okay.
Now, I've heard the term library. Is that there's a
Well,
library?
here's the thing about
That-
library. Yes, that's true. But here's my problem with that term. Library, I don't know about you, but for me, it's a very visual term. See, I think archive or collection is better. Library, I get library, but see, when I go to the library, I want to go to the building. I want to go to the card catalog. I want to go see books on shelves. I want someone to hand me a volume with my name on it, right? And say, turn to page 17, you'll get your story, right? That's not what this is.
I love the word archive. That's beautiful. I like that word.
See, I think it's more accurate. Okay. Yeah. So it's vibrational archive. Every soul on its journey is human. So here's the other thing. So the record is related to Earth. Okay. It has been understood by many as the memory, the collective memory of the planet, right? And human beings on the planet. So, but what this means is the record does not have anything to say about lifetimes on other planets. Now, it's interesting. The record doesn't say, no, you don't have those. The record doesn't say that. The record just says, don't look here because you're not going to find anything. So people will come and say, I want to know what starseed group I'm from. Like, I don't know, honey.
Right.
It's just not here. Like
you may be Andromedan, but it's not in the records.
You have to go to somebody else. Exactly. So
why, you know, why is that? Do
yes,
you know why
because here's the thing. These starseed groups, refer to star collections beyond our solar system. Mm-hmm. The record is the vibrational archive of the Earth, of the human race. Okay.
Oh, you so mentioned that in the beginning.
It cannot be anchored, right? It cannot be tethered from, whatever. I don't know. Pick a star group, right? It just can't be anchored, and then it does us no good. It's not useful, right? Is it glamorous? Yes. Is it cool? Yes. Is it helpful? No. I'm right. And the other thing, does that make sense?
No, I you know what, it's never been explained that way. Mm-hmm. And so I love that because I work with a lot of people, and yes, there's lots of other planets. There's lots of other, Absolutely. How many lifetimes, but the Akashic Records, in saying what it is the part of us where we have emerged into the human form and what is happening in this world.
Right. On this planet. Our lifetime on this planet. Okay.
Right.
Now, the other thing the record does not address, interestingly enough, are like if we jump from one species to another. Because sometimes people will say, oh, in a past life, I was, whatever, a bunny rabbit.
Right.
Something cute and cuddly, right? Okay. Well, that may be true. The record doesn't say that's not true, but the record does not address that. So we want to be clear about what's available in the record. I mean, one of the things I've seen, what's very painful to me, is confusion people have about the record, and then their expectations will never be met. It's kind of like, I'm going to get a haircut at the bakery. It's not going to happen. Might be a good bakery, but it's not I can't get a haircut there. So we want to be clear about what the record is so we can have our needs met.
Would you say that it's or another way of saying it is it's an unveiling of your true Dharma here in this world? Would you use the word Dharma?
I don't use the word Dharma. I don't not use the word Dharma.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just wanting to give perspective to those out there who do. If they were trying to say, like, my role, my purpose, my understanding of why I'm here. And you mentioned in the beginning, at this time, why are we all here at this time? There's purpose to that.
There's definite purpose to that. But see, the record looks at who, so like if you come to me for a reading, I say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at who you are and the issues you face through the lens of your soul. The lens of the soul is spiritual. The soul is basically spiritual. Spiritual means it's made of love. Okay. So we're not talking about, I don't know. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about looking at who you are from the perspective of unconditional love, not only for this lifetime. Thank you very much. I'll take it. Right. But for all our prior incarnations and incarnations yet to come. Because see, from an Akashic perspective, the soul's journey as human is to grow into awareness of the divine spark within, of the soul truth within, while we are still in limited human form. You know, it's very easy. You know this. We get out of these bodies. It's like, woohoo!
Freedom.
Right. But while we're here, it's like, oh my God, you know, we have kids, we have mortgages, we have whatever we have. So how do we know the truth of who we are? That we are good. We are perfect, whole, and complete. The soul is infinite, eternal, immortal, and the human self is imperfect. It's finite, but it's not a moral issue. We haven't done anything wrong. It's the game. Can I know the truth while I'm still in limited form?
So taking what you just shared with people, and now people said, yes, I'm in. I want to know about my own personal records. Sure. What I love is that your books, and you have many of them. I didn't read them all, but they can find out. But yes, you have so many, how to read the records. But you give people such a palatable, a very tangible way of learning how to do it. So are these how you learn to do it, or how you've come up with, how to go into the records, how to do it yourself?
I'll tell you what.
I just love it.
I'll tell you what, the pathway prayer process. I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
So I learned how to go into the records, right? It was good. It was 1994. It was the best we could come up with at the time. It's true, right? It was new, right? Nobody, it was anyway. So I worked in the records in this way until 2000. So for like 6 years. It was very good. But at that point in time, I became, over the years, I became aware that my work in the world was to share the records and good teaching with anybody with a sincere desire to learn. Mm-hmm. The group I was with did not have that idea. They said that the records, they were really much more like Orthodox. Yeah. Their idea was, no, this is sacred. Don't give it to anybody. But see, what I've noticed, not everybody wants to learn how to read the records. These are the facts.
Some people are leaders, some people are followers, some people want to go and have someone do it, and other people want to take the bull by the horns and be self-assertive. So you have a little bit of everything.
Oh, right. And so, but because, the record historically has been the realm of like mystics and scholars. It's fabulous, right? But it's been very secretive, until recently. And it's only in the last 25 years that the record is available to secular people like you and I, and our listeners today. This is, sometimes people say, oh my God, I missed this. Where was I? I'm like, no, you're right on time, because this is new. The availability or the accessibility for regular people like us to be able to get into the records. This is very new. So
I have to agree with that, because I think I've been around. I'm a 4th generation intuitive. My great grandmother was the town psychic in Russia. My whole life I've been around this, and I always perceive the Akashic Records as such mysticism, such
Yes.
unattainable for some people, and you bring it right to the people. That's why you're the pioneer.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
There
Good
you
stuff.
have it. But
Yeah.
see, the prayer that we use, the pathway prayer, was given to me in 2001.
Okay.
And it was given to me because I knew that, you know, I kept going into my records in the way that I knew. I was like, there has to be a way for people to make this connection that is, I want to say, enriching as opposed to depleting. You know, the old way of doing psychic work. Oh, I'm exhausted. Oh, I'm a da, da, da. Right. It really was a terrible burden for people. And so this was, you know, part of my prayer, really. And then, you know, in 2001, this prayer, the pathway prayer process came to me. I, of course, thought, I don't know, you guys should find somebody else. That's what I thought. I was like, nah, I don't think so. But I used it, and it was life changing. It's now being taught. You know, I teach all over the world. You know,
Yeah.
we're opening up in Russia, and you know, we're doing China and all these other places. It's really, and I'm shocked.
You have great stories about China, by the way, people, when you go get her book. They were just great stories. But just so I can bring it into the people who are watching this,
Please,
the
yeah.
pathway prayer process is the process to get into the records, just so they can be established.
Yes. This is the way. And that's what, you know, my first book, How to Read the Akashic Records, Accessing the Archive of the Soul and Its Journey. That book came out in 2009. Okay. Yeah. It's orange. I'll show you what happened.
I went to go look to see what you won an award for it and a million others.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, but the thing about this book was when that book came out, if you went to Amazon, there was nothing on the records. Nothing. No one had ever done this. I didn't know that. You know, anyway, so I put the book out. But this book talks about, it's all about the method, right? It's about the prayer and how it's composed and the relationship of the way the prayer is organized and the way the records are organized. Because I didn't know it at the time, but the prayer that was imparted to me actually reflects the organization of the Akashic Record. Who knew? Okay. Yeah. Now, here's another, this is like fascinating to me, is that I thought, okay, great. We need to know how to get into the records. But then I learned we also need to know how to get back. You know, the big difference between a mystic and someone with a severe mental illness is responsibility.
True.
And so we want to be real clear. I'm in the records. I'm not in the records. And this prayer is very simple, right? And the instructions, very simple. You say the prayer, you're in. You say the closing, you're out. Simple.
I was thinking about people who are watching this wondering, why do I need to do this? What do I need? And I have so many things written and I'm trying to see them. But one of the things you wrote, I grabbed, which was, no matter how, have you ever asked, no matter how much you've already accomplished in this life, do you have a feeling that so much more is possible?
Right.
I answered that absolutely.
Of course.
And then I wrote, I want to empower you to live in the sweet spot where your perfectly divine essence meets your imperfect humanity.
Yeah.
You wrote that. I love that. That was, but that really says that, you know, for people, because there's so many questions people have. We all have them, no matter how evolved we are. But that is divine essence meets imperfect humanity, because we got to find that way to get along with ourselves.
Right. To actually, we have to find a way to be in the center, right? To be in the core of our relationship with ourself, right? Both seen and unseen.
Yeah.
But you know, people often ask me, like, why should I even bother using this prayer? Why should I bother going through this extra step? Because sometimes I bump into the records. And the thing that I know, and you probably know this too, anybody who's attracted to this has been in the records unwittingly. They've bumped into it, right?
Mm.
The only thing, and it's not an only like it's nothing, but the significant difference is when we use the prayer, it's conscious, it's responsible, it's deliberate, it's reliable. So I know before this, I would think, oh, maybe I'll bump into this thing, right, that I had some exposure to. I knew when I opened my records, I've been here before. It was very familiar. My challenge was, how do I get there and get back? Right?
Mhm.
Instead of hoping, right? Then I start cooking up all these things. Oh, I'll drink the green drink, I'll do yoga, I'll stand on my head, and then I'll iron something. I mean, I don't know, like what's the magic formula?
Yes.
Okay, because the age of being, I want to say, victims of our own spiritual awareness, those days are over. We are now moving into the age of spiritual authority, right? Where
I love that.
we get to be like, I get to say, listen, I'm going to go into my records now just because I say so. I mean, this is my grandmother's, of course, first of all, they would never say such a thing, God knows.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, no one, our predecessors would not even think. It was always like, oh, maybe the gods of the universe will have pity on me and
Oh, right.
smile
Right.
a little, right? No, it's a different ballgame. We are co-creative partnership, but we have to do our part. Yeah.
Do you, I don't want to, tell me if this is correct, that I read it right. You indicated, I think, that you don't have to be this great mystic. You don't have to be this big spiritual intuitive.
Right.
It's like, I come from a long line.
Right.
You don't have to be any of those things. Is that right? That you wrote, you can just go in.
That's right. I'll tell you what you need, right? Because it's often the big question, oh, can anybody read their records? Here's the thing. Anybody who wants to work in their records can. See, the way we know you have the ability is you have the desire. People who have no desire to work in the records, that's because they have no ability, right? Ability and desire travel together. So if someone has the desire to get into their records, there shouldn't be a problem. Here's the deal, though. This is not magic. Okay. You don't need to be superstitious. You don't need to. What you need to do is follow the instructions, right? Because
You can be a good listener.
you can be a good listener, but you understand all you have to do is, if you follow the instructions, if you're willing to get trained, because this is fascinating as well. We are a bridge generation. You know this yourself. We're between the old and the new. Right? And this is why we have classes. This is why we have to learn the mechanics of some of these things. This is why we're getting the basics down, because our predecessors did not have this information. Right? And you come from a long line of very sophisticated spiritual, right, workers, we'll call them. Mm-hmm. And none of them could tell you how to connect with the Akashic record. Mm-hmm. Now, we're not saying they weren't connecting. We're saying they couldn't tell you. Even Edgar Cayce. I mean, we all have heard of Edgar Cayce, right?
Yes.
The great American mystic. Cayce, when Cayce worked in the records, he was unconscious. He was like out, right? He was in a trance, and somebody else, took notes. He came out. He didn't know what he said. When we work in the records now, then he was the only one. That was only 75 years ago. But right now, anybody with a desire, but instead of like Cayce being unconscious, we're conscious. And as we work in the records, we are transformed. See, was Cayce transformed? I don't know. I just don't know. I didn't know the man. But when we work in the records, we are transformed. We're conscious, responsible, and deliberate. And the benefit of doing the work in this way is that the practitioner is transformed. I love it.
I love that. You talk about the chakra system a little bit, maybe a lot of it in the book. And I wanted to touch on that because everyone thinks there's 7 chakras. We know there's more. But you talk about the importance of the 8th chakra. Do you want to touch on that? Because what I'm hoping to do is that we find time to even maybe do any sort of process or meditation just to kind of bring people into any sort of space that you feel, whether it's an hour later, if you feel called to that. But I thought maybe we should give them an understanding for those who didn't know there were more than 7.
Okay. So we're going to start with the idea of the 7 known chakras, right? Energy centers. It's great. Now, here's what's important to know. When working in the records, I only talk about the chakras in my most recent book on inspired manifesting. So This isn't, people work in the records. You don't have to know anything about the chakras. But
can you hold up the book? Because the other one was orange and the new one is green.
Go. Inspired manifesting. Dun,
there you go.
Elevate your energy and ignite your dreams through the Akashic Records.
Love it.
There we go. We're going to get that. There we go.
Perfect. Yeah, gosh, what a great book.
So here's the thing with, okay, the crown, the top of the head is the 7th chakra. Okay. We understand. Okay. There is beyond that, the 8th chakra, right? It's about 18 inches above the crown of the head. It is the point at which the 8th chakra is the point, is the level, right? It's the arena of the universal soul that we're all part of. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And at the 8th chakra, individually, this is the point at which we become distinct as individual beings, but never separate from the whole. Okay? When we open the record, the insight, the guidance, the wisdom, the Akashic light, right? The pure Akashic light pours in from the 8th chakra into the crown. It moves down inside of us and it hits the heart center. At the floor of the heart center is the soul, right? You can think of it, I like to think of it as like a lake or a reflective surface of something. Like I like to think, those Mylar balloons?
Yes.
Yeah, like that. When the light hits that, it activates all the treasures that we have embedded in our soul, right? And it brings it to our awareness so we can see, right? So what's interesting about the record is the record never tells us things we don't already know. At some level, people are like, I always thought that might be the case, or I knew that, or I had a feeling, or like that, right? Because at some level, we all have awareness of what's in here. The challenge is, how do we get to it? Before I worked in the records, I thought I'll have to get a jackhammer, because my friends would say, "Oh, what are you worried? Everything is within." Well, I know that. You know that. The question is, how do we get to it? In saying the prayer, the light pours in. See, when we work in the record, we are channeling entities. We aren't channeling spirit guides, angels, none of that. What we're doing is we're letting the light pour in and stimulate what is already embedded within us. Because Lainey, you've been living only like a bazillion lifetimes already, right? This isn't your first go round. And
yep.
All right. These are just the facts. And all these lifetimes, you have been learning and growing and becoming. All of that is not lost. All of that is embedded in your soul. And you know this because you're like, I know it's somewhere. I know it's in there somewhere. This gives us a chance to allow it to emerge.
That's gorgeous. I'm looking at some of the things I bolded.
Okay, cool.
Okay, it says our current opportunity is to examine the realm where outer and inner dimensions intersect so that we can activate the potential for preferred consequences. Do you want to rephrase that I don't know. I just for me when I mean there's so many things that you wrote that it's like, wow, I'm going to look at that a different way. But our current opportunity, like right now, everyone has an opportunity to examine the realm where outer and inner dimensions intersect. And you just spoke on that so that we can activate the potential for preferred consequences. And so what, to me, that's saying, that's the whole essence of what you're saying. Inspired manifesting is finding that way to get the preferred consequences of what you really want.
So, right, because as human beings, we're always manifesting. We can't not manifest. The problem is we often manifest a lot of what we don't really want. Like, oh no, not that again. Another terrible job, another terrible husband, whatever it is.
That's a whole nother show of why do we manifest what we don't want.
Right. But that's a whole thing, right? We want, so as we're awakening, we become aware, like, wait a minute, I didn't want to do that. I want something better. I want something, right? I want the latest. So with inspired manifesting, we can only manifest through who we are now, where we are. Okay. So I look and I cannot manifest as anyone else. I can only manifest as me here and now. And so there's this awareness, gosh, what I really want to be doing. And I have to look to the world in which I really live, not fantasy land. Although I enjoy fantasy land, I can't forget, you can't plant anything there. It doesn't grow. It falls apart. Okay. And I have to come to terms with the fact that I'm really a human being. And no matter how spiritual I am, I will not have supernatural abilities. They're not, forget it. This is not the life for that.
Do you feel, so we talk a lot as folks in the vibrational frequency world in terms of raising our vibration, achieving things to raise our vibration. If I'm using that word, that essence.
Yeah.
When you go into the Akashic Records, will that, in a sense, help us raise our vibration, or do we have to have a certain level of vibration to get into the records? Just to clarify that for people who are wondering those things.
Okay, I think this is so good. Okay. This issue.
You're not going to get the basic questions here, right?
Okay, no, we're just going. I'm like, all right, let's go. But here's the thing. The idea of vibration is very, I don't know. To me, it's like so seductive. Like, oh, I want to raise my vibration, then I'll be free. Nah. But see, what really transforms our vibration? Vibration, in order for vibration to be permanently changed, our minds must be clear we must understand what's going on. There must be understanding. We are thinking beings. We are not knuckleheads, except for sometimes. We have our moments, but on the whole, we're really thinking
in general.
Right. And the other thing is that what ignites an accelerated vibration, an elevated vibration, is love. But see, love is not an idea. I'm sorry. It's an experience. As we experience and express love, our vibration rises. So I cannot try and raise my vibration without experiencing more love within myself. And that means I have to generate it myself. I can't wait for you to give it to me. Okay, again, we're back to, it's the age of our own spiritual authority. So I have to look to myself, yeah? And I'm like, okay. And this takes us right into soul's purpose, because our soul's purposes are the unique individual ways through which we experience and express love. So, all right, I happen to love to ice skate. Now, I want you to know I'm not the best ice skater. I don't fall though, but I love it. I mean, I love it. I love the cold air. I love everything about it. I like the bad music. I love everything about it. I put on those skates and I get out there just because I'm doing the ovals, right? It's all I can do. It's fine. It makes me so happy. Why does it make me happy? Who knows? I don't even care anymore. All I know is that it is a way for me to generate that feeling of profound happiness within myself for no damn good reason. Okay. And then I turn around, I'm happy. My vibration must be up. And then I'm more loving to the people around me. That's what does it. Whether, and I know this stuff for me, like ice skating, baking. Oh my God. Oh my God. If I'm baking, I'm like, I'm making scones. I'm like, I love this so much. I love it. I love the way it smells. I love everything about it. Okay. Why? I don't care why so we want the question, why is this? Who knows? Don't worry about it. The thing is to do it, because a soul's purpose is an activity that ignites that well of unconditional love that lives within us, every one of us. And so the goal or the opportunity of being awakening on the spiritual path is that we get to experience more love. We get to express more love. Our lives are imbued with ever increasing states of love in real life, right? In real life. So if somebody says, oh, the vibration, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not impressed. You can tell me about your great vibration, but if you just kick the dog, I don't know. I'm not sold. Do you understand? And that's what I think in my experience. I mean, I have to be very, I don't know what the word is. Like, I have to be very clear about these things for myself, because I like to, I just want to make sure I'm on track. Does that, am I making sense?
You're making sense. And most people know I'll step in and it doesn't matter who it is, if I'm thinking and I'm not sure the audience is following you, but no, I hope they are, because you're sharing a lot of very great and also so practical, simple wisdom. Well, and okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. But here's what I want to say. I know that, like even my book, Elevate Your Energy. But see, what elevates our energy is what makes us happy. Like being a human being, this isn't this is really part of it. It's the way this all comes to pass. It doesn't happen outside of us. I thought for a long time it will happen outside of me. And then it's through me. It's through us as the people we are. And that's where this inspired manifesting, given who I am and what really thrills me, right? What really I just love, right? And the world the way it is.
The world the way it is.
The world the way it is. What can I possibly do?
Can I read another little section?
Please. Listen, I love it. I don't know what you're going to pick. I can't wait.
I'm going to talk about destiny. You wrote it. I loved it. So I'm going to read a little bit, if I can. Sure. From Dr. Linda Howe. Our destiny is encoded in our soul's blueprint, impressed in the fibers of our being, in the inception of our soul. Oh, your words are like butter to me. It determines how we unleash the infinite love within for our own benefit in all of life. Destiny comes quite naturally to us. It is an inevitable consequence of becoming who we are. I like mic drop every time I mic drop. There she goes again. It was just so good. I mean, that's so beautiful. But do you want to maybe touch on destiny a little bit?
Thank you. Well, destiny, you know what? Destiny is from the word destination. It is where we will end up. Okay. And where we are going, like where I am going, is already in me, or I wouldn't want to go there.
Right.
See, there are many, because we know this world, it's a wonderful world. There's so much to do, but not everything is for me in this life. You know, it's just the way it is. I mean, a lifetime, it's not very long, right? And as human beings, like over the course of all our lifetimes, everything is possible. But within any given incarnation, there's a sliver of what's possible. I mean, you know, I used to be 5'2". We don't know how tall I am anymore. I used to be 5'2". I'm not going to be a basketball player. It's not happening. Do you know, there's all these things. It's like, no, these things just aren't. So we want to look at the reality, but the destiny, you know, not everyone is captivated by the Akashic record and sharing it with people. I mean, I don't know, you know, this isn't, so I know this is here. This is mine to do. Because I noticed, I kept thinking someone else, of course, someone else will do this. I noticed no one else did it.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that. I call her we call each other our partner in POTUS, but you might know, we authored the Food Healing Oracle deck. There's a billion Oracle decks out there, but it was ours to do. We had food backgrounds. We were intuitive.
Oh, cool.
And when you get that whisper, that knowing that it's your destiny to do this. It's yours to do.
It's yours to do. And what's really amazing is that in the Akashic record, like in my record, right, there are two parts to every set of records. There's the permanent part, right, which is the identity of the soul. It's like who I am throughout time. That's where the destiny is impressed with the divine consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that doesn't change. Good lifetimes, bad lifetimes, rich, poor, you know, fat, thin, the whole bit. It's all the same. But what we know is one thing. At some point, I will awaken to that destiny and I will live in the truth of that destiny, even though my human self is imperfect. I will not be stopped by my own human imperfections.
I love that. That's a great mantra affirmation right there. I will not be stopped by my,
I don't know, human imperfections.
Imperfect human imperfections or whatever it was. I love
yeah. And then, but see what travels along with that, because there's two parts to every set of records, is the catalog of the lifetimes we live through which we awaken to our destiny and live that. Do you see? So, you know, that's what, when we go into the records, and that's the part of the record that's evolving, right? It's emerging.
Look, Dr. Linda. Oh, man, that's powerful, says Tony.
Thanks, Tony. But, you know, Tony, you know that's true, right? It's how it is. Yeah. It's an amazing thing. So those are the two parts, and they travel together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say? I can't believe that. I don't know where this hour went. It seemed like a minute. But let me ask you, what can we share with the audience for them? I know we want them to read the book, because you offered so much. I mean, you really just poured out a lot. It was just wonderful. I want everyone to read this book over and over.
Read the book. It's an easy book to read, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was great. 200 and something.
Yeah, I can't come and have coffee with you, but read the book and you'll feel like we know each other.
But share with everyone who are now in love with you what they can do. Do you have classes? You have
my goodness, yes.
You have a million things. You have an empire.
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you what, we do have classes, right? And I teach the online. I mean, right now online, of course.
Yes,
you know,
right.
We have to be careful. So courses online and how to read the records, healing through the records, your soul's purposes, manifesting. All of these are classes, right? And you can take them, or you can take them because you're just curious. We also have, if you like the certification, I have a teacher training program. We teach people, teachers from all over the world. I'm very excited. We just graduated 51 new teachers in China. So
fantastic. Wow, they're just
so there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I see that.
So come to but I have a website, lindahowe.com.
Okay. Dr. Cheryl Friedman's here. She's a wonderful past life regression.
Oh, cool.
She wrote, "This is so perfect. It connects with me on a deep level." You have a good audience in the house tonight. Karen, he's so good. Look at this. You can access
Karen. Oh, good. Yes. All right. Oh, good. Oh,
okay,
thanks,
good.
Karen. Cool.
We have all that going.
Great.
Oh my goodness. So any final thoughts? I would love to, I could talk to you, girlfriend, for hours, but here we are, just wrapping it up. Any last wonderful, heartfelt, goodness, you want to just share in part with this very vast audience of different levels of awakening and awareness and imperfect humanity.
Okay. But listen, first of all, Lainey, I love to be with you. This is so fun. I don't even know where the time went.
I know.
I'm like, what happened? We just got here, right?
I know.
So thank you. First of all, thank you. But do you know what? I know for everyone who's here, I don't care where you are in the journey. Every place, there are treasures. There are gifts at every point along the way. So wherever you are, if you're new to the path, if you're old seasoned, we say, right? But wherever you are on the journey, it's really a good place to be. Let yourself enjoy it. If you just close your eyes for a minute and put your hand on your heart, that you are meant to be here at this point in time. Mm-hmm. And that who you are as a person is your soul's first and very best choice. That there is not one other person on the face of the earth who could deliver life and love the way you can to yourself and those you encounter. So don't be shy. Take your next step. Let yourself be imperfect and know that life will use you anyway. The light shines through you, no matter what opinions you have about yourself, no matter your judgments. Your goodness is not a secret to any of us, and we hope that it is not a secret to you ever again. Thank you.
Wow. That was a spiritual mic drop again. Thank you. What a blessing you are to humanity. This was a real honor.
Thank you.
I hope we get the chance to do this again and just see how you're doing in life and see how whoever ended up watching this and
see what happens next.
Someone just Holistic Chamber of Commerce. Amazing. That was just amazing.
Oh, great. Hi guys.
Thank you,
Emil and the gang. Yes, thank you.
We are both members of a wonderful organization, and that's how I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Linda Howe from the beginning. And I was in love at the beginning, whatever she's got going on, I'm going to check it out. So thanks for being on Zeta Global Radio.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for everyone being here today. Please share this replay wherever you're seeing this. There's lots of platforms. Share it with people. Let them wake up. Have a little understanding that there's so much more to who we are, and as she said, that it's already inside. We don't have to go out there. It's right here. And this radio show helps access it by bringing icons like Dr. Linda here. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for being here. God bless.